film, how far back do you go to check? Because I know you said you did pop pass.
Yeah.
Against Duke. So how far do you usually go back?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably further than I normally would go. I just remembered that play. We look at every play they had that season. You know, so like NC State, we've looked at every game they've played this year. And then we look at if they played us the year before, we look at that game. And then in the off season, kind of what we do is we kind of go through opponents that are similar, we think structurally to us on defense or similar ability-wise to us on defense, and we pull out like certain things that to prepare for the season, and then we go back and look at it as we're preparing for this year. So pretty good ways. Yeah.
Mr. References.
I got you. I apologize. Yeah, my fault.
They have a new OC though. How does that kind of affect, or their OC is now an app?
How
does it affect?
So I think the structure of the offense is pretty similar. I mean, obviously it's a different play caller, and every play, like I've got things that I like that on certain situations that another defensive coordinator might not like. So you start to look at that. I think it'd be a little bit harder if it had been the first or second game of the season. But now we've kind of seen them all year, so we kind of have an idea of kind of what they want to be and who they are and all those kind of things. So
they play three quarterbacks. Are they pretty much the same regardless of the quarterback? Like how they approach their play?
I think the first kid that played for him, I thought was a really talented kid, and they went away from him, and he was a little bit more of an RPO runner guy. So I think but since they kind of have, and they went to the Hockman kid second, and then the kid they're playing now. So I think the last two are very similar. I think one's left-handed, one's right-handed. Other than that, it's very similar.
What defenses do you look at for structural similarities?
Teams that are more 3-4, Virginia, Louisville now, teams that are going to present. It's really more run game stuff. The pass game kind of is the same most of the time.
Sure, you played a lot of guys on defense Saturday that maybe haven't played a lot this season, not at all. How important is that for you kind of going into the offseason to be able to kind of evaluate those guys on film instead of just being able to base what you've seen in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think a challenge. I was proud of our. We put like Kyrie Jackson and Eugene Asante went in the second quarter, and part of it was we've wanted to play those guys. We just haven't had much of an opportunity. I mean, I felt like every play we've played other than the end of the Georgia Tech game has been life or death. So it was good to see though. I was proud of those guys going in. That we call it one and a half, right? They're not starters, but they should play. They're good enough to play. I thought they went in and did a good job. So I think for them to get live work, to get live tackling, was good. It was really good.
In what ways has Ray Hasek progressed since he got here? Especially considering the fact that I think you told us the other day he's only been able to lift weights during the season. There's a lot of different things he's been able to do here that he didn't do previously.
Yeah, so I think him getting here late. Brian Hess has had a lot more time to work with him, so I think he's physically a little better. And he's healthier. I mean, he hasn't played much. So I think now you're seeing a kid who's got ability, who we always thought had ability, who's now has improved, and we're more comfortable with him playing. And now he goes in, you see he plays really well. So Ray's going to be a really good player for us. I'm glad he's here.
How'd you guys find him?
He was here when I got here. The previous staff had been recruiting him, and I'm glad we were able to get him into school. He's a good player.
That defensive line next year, you have to replace Crawford and Sturbridge. Ray plays a role there. Who else do you think's
Jalil, I think, has played really well the last two games. I think Tamari Fox is going to be a really, really good player. We had to kind of play him outside a little bit just because of where we are with certain spots. I think when he moves back inside, he'll be a really dominant player. Another year in the weight room. I'm excited to see. I think he will be a real difference maker inside. And then I think we got Christian Varner who played a little bit Saturday, who I think has gained about 50 pounds since he got here.
He's an interior guy.
Yeah, he'll be an interior guy. So I think we've got some guys there that we think have a lot of ability, haven't played as much because of how much Aaron's played. That going forward will be Jalil's gonna be a really good player.
And move Sturbridge out a little bit to end. Is that just because that's his natural position, or kind of NFL?
So I think part of it was in pass protection, we were seeing people do things to him that inside are harder to counter. So when he's aligned inside and they start moving, double teaming and that kind of stuff, it's harder to manipulate that as a defense coordinator. So I wanted to try and get him more one-on-one looks, and then just the way we a line a lot of times. A lot of times he's lined up beside Tamon Fox. And so, like, we had our two best pass rushers, in my opinion, kind of beside each other. And so the protection was getting tilted there so much. And we kept trying to blitz it to get the protection away. And people were just like, we'll deal with the blitz. We're not going to let these two guys disrupt. And so part of it was to balance those two out. And then the other part of it was when you start looking at who's playing the best for you, right? And when we thought Jalil and Ray were really coming along, maybe playing better than the DNs were playing, so let's move Jason out there and make that a position of real strength and see if we can get these other young guys that are improving and playing better in practice and doing a good job, more reps inside. So all of that was a factor.
What was the decision to redshirt Chris Collins? Just people.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't want him. I think Chris is really talented. And we went into the season thinking he would play more, and he kind of got hurt, and he kind of got hurt again. And I didn't want to look back this time of the year and say, man, Chris Collins was on punt return for 7 of the 12 games, and we wasted a year of his eligibility that way. So we kind of, after he had played 4, we kind of went to him and said, look, our thought process is going to be, we're not going to play you. We're going to travel you, and if somebody gets hurt and you have to go in, you got to go in. But at this point, we're trying to manage. A year from now, I think he's going to be a really important part of our defense.
Is he a linebacker, defensive?
He'll be a rush outside linebacker. So.
What did you like best about the way the defense played?
I thought we communicated better. I think it started during the week. I think I did a better job giving them things they can handle. I think against Virginia and Pitt, I didn't do a very good job. I think we did a better job as a staff preparing them, giving them an easier game plan. And they communicated really well. And when we communicate, we're pretty good. Like when we're aware of things, when we talk to each other, we're able to handle things. And I think we did a much better job Saturday with that. And I was proud to see that next tier of kids come in. I was proud to see Eugene and Kadri and Giovanni Biggers and some of these guys come in and play well, that haven't had a chance to play yet. So I think that was probably the two things I was happiest with.
What has stood out to you on film about NC State's offense?
I think the 2 receivers are really good, big, 3 and 88. I think the 2 freshman tailbacks are really talented. They have a very clear plan of what they want to do. I think they do a good job with it. They played 3 quarterbacks, and all 3 of them you see strengths with them. I think obviously the kid they're playing now is Larry's got a big time arm. Big time arm. He rips it. And so you're like, he made a throw against Georgia Tech. It was like 3rd and 17, like a back shoulder to the field. That was an absolute BB. So like you're just like, holy moly. So they've got skill. I think they're good up front. We got to find a way to try to cover them and not sacrifice so much in the run defense covering them that we have a hard time stopping the run. So I think that's going to be the challenge for us this week.
You obviously come from a big rivalry game with the Army-Navy game. What's your take on embracing rivalry games for your players?
Yeah, it's rivalry for a reason, right? This is the one that everybody wants you to win. So we've told our kids all. I've watched them almost every Friday. I feel like I kind of learned this lesson at Army getting ready for Navy. It was like if I waited until the end, and Army-Navy is like a bowl game. You have like 3 weeks, but I felt like when I every couple weeks watched them and kind of saw what they were doing and how the offense was progressing, when it came time to go play them that week, I had a really good in my mind, how they were trying to attack people and how the offense had morphed. Because we're a little bit different on defense right now than we were week 1, because you kind of morph as guys get hurt and guys start playing better and you start doing certain things better, and as opponents attack you and you start to see your weaknesses. So I think if you wait till the Sunday before to start watching them, you're behind a little bit. So we were pretty well prepared, and some of the stuff we did, we didn't tell our kids this, but some of the stuff we've been practicing the last few weeks has been in preparation for this game. So I think our kids they'll be ready to go.
You watch as a staff on Friday?
No, just me.
Just a couple hours.
Yeah, I just buzzed through it. We got an analyst named Preston Mason who's really smart, who he's been working on them all year. So he kind of comes to me with, hey, look, this is some of the things they did different. And so we're kind of, throughout the year, working on them a little bit.
Good little tidbit.
Thanks. Anything for you?
How have you had to manage emotions at all with your guys yet, based on, I guess, kind of what happened last year and what's happened in the past few years of this rivalry?
I haven't talked about it yet. So, no, so far it's been fine. I'll see how they are on Tuesday. But I think they want to win. They want to win. They know what's at stake. They want to win. They're going to play really well. Anything else?
Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I'm kind of a stuffing guy. Yeah, kind of a stuffing guy.
Big fan.
Yeah, it's kind of how I roll. So.